Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Timothy here with Jank Diver Gaming, and today I decided to do something a little bit fun. They had these Decathlon events going on Arena. I finally got my 10th one, even though it's not showing on there, so I'm hoping that's not a problem. I got all 10 of the Decathlon tokens, and some of the events that you had to do to play were fun. They were constructed events like this on the edge thing. Some of them were questionable, like Omniscience Draft, which is what we're going to do today. Now, don't get me wrong, I kind of love the idea of Omniscience Drafting. I think it's a really fun thing to do normally. I just don't like it for a pseudo competitive event like this. I think, it's kind of like random chance. A lot of times it's a coin flip. It's not the type of thing that lends itself well to a competitive environment, but we're not playing competitively today. So we get to just jam Omniscience Draft for super cheap, which is why I'm doing it. It's only around for a couple more days, but all of the Decathlon events are super cheap to participate in. The prizes are kind of whatever, but you can get some random packs along the way, and you make your entry back if you go 7 wins before you go 3 losses. And I do think it is a fun, casual format to play here and there. Again, I just don't really care for it competitively. So this was kind of a slog to get through to get that token. You just kind of had to randomly win a decent number of games, but there are some cool things that happen. So before we get into Omniscience Draft, I do want to say thank you for being here in the Jank Diver Gaming channel. If you want to see more content like this, or if you're interested in cube drafting on Arena for free and winning some gems for doing so, click the link down below to join our Discord server. We do Sunday night events where you can win some gems just for coming and playing cube with us on Arena. Come join that Discord. It's a fun time. A lot of people there, especially around spoiler season for Phyrexia All Is One. That's when there's a lot of chatter. So come join us. We're happy to have new people. Second thing I wanted to mention is that I personally do most of the videos for the YouTube channel, but I am having a baby in like 3 weeks from the recording of this channel. My firstborn child is on its way, which means I will be taking a back seat to creating content. Not that I create a lot of it, but it would be nice if you just reach out and let me know if you would still like to see content or not. That way I can maybe squeeze it in here and there, but expect a little bit of a hiatus from the usual type of stuff that we post on our YouTube channel. All right, enough of that. If you're wondering what Omniscience Draft is, this is how it works. So you start with a 3-card hand. Well, we're going to draft like normal. This is kind of a chaos draft environment, so you're just going to open random cards. But you draft like normal. You submit a 40-card deck, and during the gameplay, each player starts with 3 cards. They get a free mulligan, and they get this Omniscience emblem, which says they can cast the cards from their hand for free. You can also activate this ability once per turn to make WUBRG mana, one of each color, which lets you use like activated abilities or like adventures and stuff like that that aren't in your hand. This still gives you mana to be able to do some other things. So the idea here is you want a bunch of broken draw spells, really big creatures that dominate the game, haste threats, stuff like that. It really takes your usual drafting preferences and turns it on its head, and sometimes it's a miserable experience. Sometimes you lose on turn 1 because your opponent just had a bunch of draw spells and they mind rot you and stuff like that. It's really not a competitive thing, but it does lead to some fun interest in gameplay and makes the draft kind of unique. You know, you don't care about your little curve filler 2 drops and 3 drops. You want big 9/9s and stuff like that. It's kind of fun. So enough talk. Let's go ahead and fire off an Omniscience Draft, and we'll talk about our picks as we go. This is a quote-unquote chaos environment, but I still think they collated it so that you get a rare, 3 uncommons, and the rest are commons. And let's see what we got here. So Inquisition, pretty bad. Inquisition gets way worse in a format like this, where your opponent's going to have a lot of expensive cards. Reanimation's probably okay. Big Reanimator spells get a lot better because you're just casting them for free. Cheap removal spells, pretty dorky. Containment Construct, whatever. We're looking for card draw, discard spells, counter spells, and giant creatures, essentially. Sewer Crocodile is fine in a format like this when you don't have to pay mana for it. You can activate that activated ability with your Omniscience mana. Blood Fountain's probably okay at best. Overseer, fine. Lava Serpent, Sure Strike, Wrecking Crew. I'm going to take Lava Serpent here because it cycles. Cyclers are just free. You do have to use your Omniscience mana to activate the cycling ability. You don't get to do that for free, but this is a 5/5 haste for 6. Well, 5/5 haste for 0, the type of card that with the right combination of cards, you can just win on turn 1. Kind of sets up Reanimation as well. This is a fairly weak Omniscience pack. There's no card draw, just a cycler, but cyclers are good. Electrolyze is really strong. It just replaces itself and deals 2 damage. Warren's probably okay. These spells that target larger CMC cards like Disdainful Stroke and Fall of Lord Conda are going to be a lot better here than they are normally, and they're still fine in normal limited formats, but they're really good here when your opponents are just jamming giant creatures. And it does look like we're not drafting with other people. Yeah, we're not drafting with other people, so I don't have to feel pressured for time here. Snakeskin Veil, whatever. A protection spell goes a long way. Removal spell's fine, especially when the treasure token doesn't really do anything. Disdainful Stroke, I think, is excellent. I love Disdainful Stroke. There is a Greater Sandworm here as well. Sandworm's kind of sweet. Same idea as Lava Serpent, right? Just a giant creature you can play, or a cycler if you need to find the next card in line. This here is between Electrolyze, Sandworm, and Disdainful Stroke. Electrolyze is just free and deals 2 damage, but 2 damage doesn't really matter that much here. So I'm not super excited about it. I might just take Sandworm. Disdainful Stroke is really good. You know what? I'm going to take Stroke because you can kind of win with whatever big creatures you have, but being able to interact on those early turns of the game when your opponent's playing like their giant hasty threat and having a cheap counterspell, I guess it doesn't matter really whether it's cheap or not, but Disdainful Stroke is functionally the same as any other counterspell here. I found the counterspells to be extremely important. Boar seems pretty bad. You don't really want to put lands in your deck when all of your cards are free. I guess this could do something, but it's not great. Cheap equipment, pretty bad. Aven Windmage, pretty bad. Blink of an Eye is good. And then a bunch of junk here. Yeah, just a lot of junk. I mean, this 4-mana 5/5 is kind of the type of card we would hope to wheel. Nothing really here that lends itself to Omniscience Draft outside of Blink of an Eye, which replaces itself and gets something off board. There's a Sky Turtle. Sky Turtle's probably excellent. You can just cast this as a creature. Ward 2 is not really anything at all when your opponent gets 5 free mana a turn and their removal spells are cheap. But you can also use this to bounce something in a pinch. You can use it to get back one of your other cards, especially like a card draw. You could probably go, if we get like a Season of Renewal, you can just go infinite, right? No, no, you do have to use your Omniscience mana for channel. You do have to use your Omniscience mana. This is fine. It cantrips. Anything that cantrips is good. I guess this technically cantrips after a turn. Pretty weak packs for Omniscience Draft. I'm going to take Sky Turtle. Frenzied Devil. Haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+2. Again, this is the type of card that you could just win the game on turn 1 if you have a million draw spells and a Frenzied Devil. So it looks a little intriguing there, and everything else here is kind of dorky. Run out of town. Put a creature on top of its owner's library. That's nothing. Sticky Fingers is probably very weak. There is a Thundersteel Colossus. Need to be able to crew it, but it hits hard. Sometimes big creatures are good. I think that's probably better than this. We can't guarantee having like the flurry of spells, and that's really only good on turn 1. Laid to Rest. When a human you control dies, draw a card. I don't think that's ever happening. So Dissident, Synergy cards are kind of whatever. This card makes a 1/1 when it comes in. Combat Trick. Divination. See, this is why this format's great. Another giant haste trampler. You can have this come out as a 6/6 haste. Divination is just, this is what you want. You want card draw. Card draw is the number one thing that you want in this format because it's free to cast. So if you start a hand with Divination, you're just up a card for nothing. There's Majestic Metamorphosis as well, which cantrips on ETB. Guardians of Koilos can go infinite with certain things, but Divination is just bread and butter, exactly what you want in this sort of format, and I do see a cancel there. This is the one that gets counters when it's dealt damage. It's not going to do anything. This thing only matters when you're cycling. Bring to Trial's probably fine. There's another Lava Serpent, and then there's Kaito's Pursuit and Cancel as well. This is a Mind Rot, and Mind Rots are very good. Because if each player starts with 3 cards in hand and you're on the play, you could just Mind Rot them, and suddenly they only have 1 card to play with. Lava Serpent, also again, just really want that giant hasty threat. I think this sort of interaction is more important than the big creatures. Because again, if you can just get your opponent on resources, you can win with whatever. So as much as I like the idea of a bunch of hasty threats early, I think Cancel and Pursuit. I do want 1 Mind Rot. At least 1. Card sucks. Card really sucks. Broker's Veteran, pretty bad. Bushmeat Poacher can do something. This can sacrifice creatures to draw cards. That's not terrible. And the rest of the cards here don't really do anything at all. It does look like they do the packs in a way where you get multiple cards from the same set. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it kind of looks like it. All right, back to that open pack that didn't really have anything going on. I think I'm going to take a Blood Fountain here. Blood Fountain can help get back our big cyclers, and we have 2 creatures that put themselves in the graveyard, so that's looking pretty good. Lauren, this only gets back artifacts. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Can get back Blood Fountain. Oh, there's the Greater Sandworm. Okay, I mean, Blood Fountain's looking a lot better when you have multiple creatures that put themselves in the graveyard. I was considering taking that the first time around. These cards are all pretty terrible. Specimen, sure. I mean, Specimen kind of works with Bushmeat Poacher and Blood Fountain, but it's just kind of weak, so I'll take the creature. Not super excited about that one. One thing you'll note here is that you do have to submit a 40-card deck, and you're only going to draft 45 cards, so you have to play 40 of your 45 cards. There's no getting around that. Sleeper Dart, I'll take it. It cantrips. And here, Thwart the Enemy, a fog that prevents only fog, prevents the damage that your opponent's creatures do. It actually has some merit in a format like this. +2/+2 until end of turn. It had a counter on it. Whatever. Sure, I'll take like a Rummager here. Oh, last pick cancel? Last pick cancel, people. Cancel is what this format's about. Why are you last pick and cancel? All right, Storev. When it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, return to your hand target creature or planeswalker in your graveyard that wasn't put there this combat. Kind of whatever. We've got a whole lot of nothing. There's Rouse Outburst. Rouse Outburst deals 3 damage, and then you just get another card to your hand. So kind of like Electrolyze. It's free to put this in your deck. Doesn't cost you anything. Probably makes it the pick here. Make sure I'm not missing anything else. Utopia, or Urban Utopia, does cantrip, but it has to enchant a land, and you don't really put lands in your deck. Storev seems middle of the road. You know, giant creatures slamming into each other at 5/4 is actually kind of like middle statted for the type of stuff you should expect here. I mean, I think this is easy Rouse Outburst. Perilous Voyage to bounce a creature. Gifted Etherborn. This is kind of a solid card. Death Touchers are decent. Iron Golem, bad. Bad. Acceptable, but bad. Wall of Runes, especially bad. Ghoul-Draz Mucklord. Put a +1 counter on target creature you control. This pack's pretty bad. Oh, there's a Spare Supplies. Okay. So ETB, draw a card, and then you can sack it to draw a card. So this is a slow divination, but again, it just cantrips on ETB, so. Roiling Regrowth does nothing. It's uncastable. Virtually uncastable in this format. Divine Arrow. I do not like the idea of drawing my opponent extra cards, although this does cantrip. Wayfarer. Chain to Memory. Isn't that a Kingdom Hearts game? Grazer. Precise Strike. Yeah, there's nothing here. I am going to take Farsight Adept because all the other cards look fairly unplayable. Maybe I can set up a turn where I draw my opponent a card and then Mind Rot them, you know. Goblin Banneret gets 1 activation per turn. I see Tamio's Epiphany. All right. Another unplayable Roiling Regrowth. I'm just, again, a lot of these cards, you kind of mark them off in your head. Like, if you're used to seeing cards like this and this in their limited formats, it's like, I know not to pay attention to those, but then you have to reconsider them for Omniscience Draft, which I kind of like. There's Into the Royal. We already have a blink of an eye. It's the same exact card, but Tamio's Epiphany, look, divination with extra text. That's exactly what you want. Hamapashar, room abilities. Okay, sure thing. Boros Challenger, pretty weak. Weak mentor creature, weak heroic creature. Oh, Tezzeret's Ambition. Toll of the Invasion, I had this in a draft and it was really good. Just 1-for-1 discard is a lot worse than your Mind Rots. But this card draws 3 cards, and sometimes, well, it's going to draw 2 cards and then loot away the third one, but sometimes we will have an artifact on board, and it will just be a 0-mana draw 3, which are kind of the best things you can do. This says the word dinosaur on it. We could try to get a bunch of battalion foot soldiers. We're not milling our opponents out. When it dies, venture into the dungeon. This gives -2/-2. This can explore. Explore always hits a non-land, so it never draws you a card. Implement of Malice makes your opponent discard a card, right? Yeah, target opponent discards a card when it's put into... Oh, and it cantrips. Yeah, this makes your opponent discard a card and just replaces itself. That's amazing. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures this turn. Creatures you control gain hexproof. That's actually probably okay, but this seems exactly what the format's about. 3-1, Windrake, and a 1-1. Creature becomes a 4-4. Blah, blah, blah. Just making sure I'm not missing, like, obvious cards. This can mill. Mill's not super exciting. Take a Destructive Tamper, and creatures without flying can't block this turn. That is a way to just win the game. It's not an embarrassing card at all. Firemind's Vessel makes mana. Don't really need that when you already get free mana. Ether Inspector. These creatures that bounce things back to your hand are fine because people do play like the big 5 mana kill a creature automatically type thing, and you can just bounce it back. This gives your creatures trample. Aspect of Lamprey is another mind rot though, and gives lifelink. So we're on the play. Sometimes we'll go like big creature, Aspect of Lamprey. You lose, you lose 2 of your 3 starting cards, and then we implement a Malice, get the last one. Seems good. That gives us 2 mind rots. Yeah, 2 mind rots. We're back to this pack that kind of didn't have anything the first time. I wonder if I want a Prey Upon. One thing I've noticed when I'm drafting is I don't take a lot of creature removal, and I just don't feel like you need a lot of creature removal. But nothing else here is going to do anything for us. Yeah, that's pretty dinky. I will put a Prey Upon in the sideboard. Back to this pack as well, which is pretty bad. Remember, we do have to play 45 cards, so Prey Upon. Whatever I take from this pack, there's no way it makes my deck. This is just a better version of Demystify, so I'll take that. Grazer, Precise Strike, +1/+0 and First Strike. Seems pretty dinky. Scry 2. There's nothing here. Traveler's Amulet does nothing. Sure. Moat Piranhas is back. This could kill somebody out of nowhere, potentially. I'm just going to take a creature. You do end up with like 5 to 10 cards that you wish you didn't have to put in your deck, but you kind of do. This is the type of thing that can win the game on turn 1. If you have a bunch of draw spells and a bunch of big creatures, you give them all haste, and boom, your opponent's dead. Venturing into the dungeon lets us scry 1, but never actually draws us a card unless we get more venture stuff. I am going to take Tuk Tuk Rubble Fort. I will take the Blind and Fog. And another Precise Strike. Wow, 2 Precise Strikes. All right, third pack. Karavek gives other creatures -1/-1. It's kind of whatever. Rona, not particularly exciting here. Grizzly, not super exciting. This is a sack outlet. This can give creatures haste. Seize the spoils. Discard a card. Draw 2 cards. Weak removal spell. Treasure, not important. It's probably just Seize the Spoils as like a Tormented Voice, Thrill of Possibility type thing. I could take a turn to slag. Just a deal 5, right? The equipment part doesn't matter very much. I'm going to take Seize the Spoils. Dead Man's Chest. That could be amazing. Actually, this exiles cards, and you do have to pay mana for cards in exile, so I'm not as excited about that one. Braids, Frightful Return. Sack a creature to make your opponent discard, then get a creature back. And then it draws you a card if they don't sack something. This actually seems good. I am eyeballing Secrets of the Golden City, though, which is another divination that sometimes draws 3 cards. There's a Cycler. There's also Feed the Serpent, just kill a creature. I mean, I'm just going to take divinations over anything. This card actually seems good, but I don't have a lot of things I really want to sacrifice. We take the card draw. No thank you. In Search of Greatness. I don't think so. Devious Cover-Up. Great. This is actually probably decent. You know, attacks for 8 damage, potentially. Bunch of lands that don't matter. Devious Cover-Up. Counterspell. Get in the deck. Frostpire Arcanist. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for an instant or sorcery with the same name as a card in your graveyard. Ooh, we could get 2 Precise Strikes. Pump Spells. No secrets of the key. This draws 2 cards over the course of 2 turns because you need to use your Omniscience mana to flash it back, so you can't do it all at once. This is a mill card. This is a scry card. That has snow mana in it. Lethal Sting's probably okay. Like, the difference between a 7/7 and 6/6, not that big of a deal. Hoggy Mob, probably also okay, and Cyclers are good. This draws 2 cards, though. Rune of Speed draws a card. Blood Pact draws 2 cards. Memory Theft takes a card from your opponent's hand. This can draw a card, but could also be a blank. Ooh, you gotta love Domain with 0 lands in your deck. I'm gonna take Blood Pact. That draws 2 cards. Rune Crown, that would have been kind of cool. We just picked up the red rune. Flip the switch. Your opponent gets 5 free mana so they can pay for it. Not good. Exile Unwilling Ingredient from your graveyard, draw a card and lose a life. This makes treasure, pump spell, pump spell. I guess I'll take the creature that can turn into another card. Pilgrim of the Ages. Go get some planes. Larger Zombie's pretty weak. I could take this thing. I mean, this is the only time this card is ever going to see play in the history of Magic, so maybe we give it its due. I mean, Damogoth Woe Eater seems interesting, but you draw a card and you gain 2 life. I guess the worst case scenario is you just sack this to itself. Each opponent discards a card? That actually seems decent. I mean, I'm not taking anything else in the pack, so sure. Ooh, we did get a rune. Look at that. Anything else here? Bunch of naturalizes, Run Amok, +4/+4, Truffle Snout, Scry 2, then draw a card. I mean, we just take that, right? This just replaces itself. This replaces itself and gives a permanent Death Touch. This just does it without Death Touch. All right, back to the opening pack. There's a Looter here. There's a 4/3 Trampler. And then this thing. I guess Rona could actually probably deal a bunch of damage. Nothing exciting here. I think that's the second Conquistador that was going around. Cast your second spell, +1/+1 and fly in. And you can only activate Kavu once per turn. These cards do kind of all suck. Yeah, I'll take that, I guess. Death Toucher. A little Death Touch creature. +2/+2 attacks. And a bounce spell. Yeah, I guess I'll take the bounce spell. They're not great in this format, obviously, when your opponents can play cards. Hey, we willed a rune. That cantrips, people. Y'all should be taking that. And that's our 40 cards. That's Omniscience draft. Look, I don't know if people find this fun or not, but I find it delightful when I'm not playing for like any sort of trophy or anything. It's just, look at this deck. I'm not even gonna, you don't even have to think about anything. You just submit that bad boy and you lose on turn 0. You do really, like, the games are decided really early sometimes, but then you get in these top deck wars, and it's interesting because people can top deck anything, and you never draw a land. Urza's draw. You want to be on the play so bad. You go first. All right, we've got Mind Rot and draw 3. Let's do it. This is why counter spells are so good, because my opponent could just counter my draw 3. I'm going to hit him with the discard 2 first. They got something they can do at instant speed. All right, they discarded a cantrip and Rise to Extus. Let's go ahead and draw 3. Discard Infernal Pet. Discard Selhoff Entomber to draw 2. Okay. We can draw a card. This is so stupid. Unwilling Ingredient. All right, let's Rouse Outburst you. That cantrips. I will take Implement of Malice because that gets rid of your last card. Target player discards a card. Then that draws. Destructive Tampering. Ooh, wow. Wow. Okay. Do that. Crack Clue token, or I could just flash this back. Let's go ahead and just crack the Clue, see if we can get a big creature on board. Blood Pact, draw 2 cards. Rune of Speed can go on spare supplies. It now has haste. We didn't actually draw anything. On upkeep, I'm going to go ahead and play this Unwilling Ingredient. I have a counter spell. I'm going to, on my opponent's upkeep, flash this back. Oh, it makes 2 clue tokens on flashback. I guess I kind of really didn't know that because never really played the card. All right, there we go. That is the competitive Omniscience draft environment that Wizards decided was okay to lump in with this Decathlon. You have to get 7 wins. 7 wins. And sometimes you're on the receiving end of that. Like, if my opponent went first, they would have cast the Ultimatum and drawn 5 cards. I won because I flipped the coin, you know? All right, I go first again. I have a draw 3. Oh, I have a draw 3 that draws me, or lets me pitch this Unwilling Ingredient. All right, let's start with Spare Supplies. That's kind of fielding whether or not my opponent has an instant, and they do. Colossal Sky Turtle, that's really nice, because we go here. If they counter this, which they did not. Oh, I drew a cancel. Oh, I had an artifact, so that's amazing. All right. Let's get back Tezzeret's Ambition, or do I just play this turtle and start bashing? I think I'm going to get back the Ambition. I will get that back. My opponent didn't counter the draw 3, so I'm assuming they're not going to counter the next draw 3. Ah, Convolute. Oh, nice. Nice. And I've already paid the mana for it. I will cancel this Convolute. I mean, I've got to draw 3 on the stack. I might as well. Ooh, they got another counterspell. Convolute's normally pretty bad, because your opponent gets 5 free mana, but sometimes you do get them when they use their mana, which is what my opponent did. Let's go ahead and crack a clue token. All right, Infernal Pet, when you cast your second spell each turn, I've probably already done that. So let's go ahead and just play some dorky creatures here. Bushmeat Poacher plus Unwilling Ingredients, kind of nice. I have a Devious Cover Up here, which is sweet. I can shuffle those 4 cards back into my deck. I don't want to play this Farsight Adept, I don't think. Not until I draw a Mind Rot of some sort. All right, opponent gets a turn. Path to the World Tree. Can't activate that unless you find 2 extra mana somewhere and you don't search for a basic. This doesn't actually do anything. Whoa, what? What? My opponent, I'm going to counter the draw 2 and shuffle. I'm fine drawing all of those cards. My opponent has basic Island in their Omniscience draft deck. That's incredible. All right, Cycle Sandworm. Notably different art Sandworm from mine. Cycle, you got it. Still drawing things they can do. Ooh, they've got like the cycling deck. All right, there we go. Shuffle those. Estwald Shieldbreaker. That's just a 4/2. Disdainful Stroke's great. Oh, I shuffled back the flashback spell. That was dumb. Oh well. Let's go ahead and draw a card. That was very dumb. Aspect of Lamprey not looking great here. We will. I also should have. I used my black mana as well. Not a fantastic turn of events. Play a Hoggy Mob though, and don't really want to cast this still. Like at all. This doesn't do anything. You know what I can do actually? I can Adept. My opponent will draw a card. Hopefully it's not an instant. And then I can Aspect of Lamprey. This thing, I guess. They did draw an instant, or cycle, or something that uses mana. Mirror Shell Crab. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess they were going to lose it anyway, so that didn't really change anything from my perspective. I can do this on my opponent's turn. Still fine. I have a Disdainful Stroke for anything super problematic. I don't know. Is my opponent going to draw a mana source or something for this? That would be incredible. All right. Ingredient. Cantrip. Tezzeret's Ambition, beautiful. No artifact on board for it, but that's fine. I have plenty of cards to discard. Discard whatever this card is. Let's go ahead and Mind Rot opponent. This doesn't tap a creature, right? Cast negate on Mind Rot. All right. Opponent had the counter spells. Multiple mana leak type cards, though, which has both of them have worked. Blood Pact, target me. Do this thing. Those are fine. I guess I should have done them in a different order. Just gonna jam. Target creature doesn't untap, so it doesn't actually tap it. So we can do this. Secrets of the Golden City, just for 2 cards. That's kind of cool. Let's cast that one. Let's cast this. Let's go ahead and play this for free. Make sure I don't deck myself. Let's go ahead and kill the 4/2. And then this is 9 plus 7 is 16. So Rouse Outburst you and then play something that can crew. Fantastic. That's just good, clean gameplay, y'all. That's just good, clean, beautiful gameplay. Maybe my opponent has a reason for putting Island. I'm not going to knock it, but you do not want any lands in. Unless somehow you were forced to play like 5 lands or 6 lands because that's how the packs broke. There's no reason to put a land in your deck, right? All right, I guess this is just amazing. I'm ready for my comeuppance like any of these rounds. I've won the die roll both games, so we'll see how it goes. Oh, I go first again? All right, and we get to drop Shieldred. This only triggers off instants and sorceries, but that's fine. All right, let's see what we can get up to this game. It's also not inconceivable to, like, be able to cast this from the graveyard. All right, didn't look like any instants from opponent. Nope, they've got something, but it doesn't interact with a creature, so they might have, like, a negate or something like that. Sleeper Dart. That replaces itself. It's fine. Yeah, I'm expecting a negate of some sort. Let's see if we see it. I'll probably Devious Cover Up. Introduction to Prophecy seems good when I already have the other counter spell. Especially getting these into the graveyard is nice because they all cantrip, and then Devious Cover Up can shuffle them back, give me a higher density of cards that just kind of cantrip. Blood Fountain. I scribe both these to the bottom. And Skitter Eel, and that's when the fun stops. We can go ahead and adapt Skitter Eel on our opponent's turn. We don't have to do it right now. All right, well, we got 5 damage in there. We do have a counter spell. Opponent is activating their emblem and doing nothing. Cool. All right, that was not the most explosive turn one I could have had, but still seemed like a pretty good turn. Next turn, I have Spare Supplies. Guy's Protector. Must be blocked if able. Will not fight over that. Jiang Yang Gu. Put some +1 counters. Also not going to fight over that. Can largely ignore these 2 cards. Gruul Locket. I found out the hard way that you can't actually activate the lockets unless you can produce additional mana, because you only get 1 green and 1 red from the Omniscience emblem, so you need to find a way to make additional green and red. They actually have Jiang Yang Gu, which lets them tap creatures with counters for mana, so they could potentially crack the locket, but here it's just a dead card. Can this produce mana for... No, it can't. So this doesn't even contribute. And I will go ahead and Skitter Eel, make a 5/5. And untap. Aspect of Lamprey is great. Let's go ahead and crack the Spare Supplies here. Does deal damage. Each opponent loses a life. Ooh, Lava Serpent's nice. So no extra draws, but I do get to Mind Rot their last card. Or at least force them to use it. Then I get to cast a Lava Serpent and jam. Probably want to kill Jiang Yang Gu so they can't crack the locket. +1/+0, lifelink, and indestructible. Okay, that's fine. We basically just traded a card for a card. This has lifelink now. I could throw away a creature to kill Jiang. I don't see the reason to do that. I'm just going to cast this and pass the turn, I think. Just not throw away a creature while they're indestructible. They have lifelink as well. I still have a counter spell here. I feel fine. I feel just fine. All right, what are we doing? Again, the only reason I want to kill Zheng Yinggu is because if they play another creature, they put another counter on it, this becomes a draw 2, and then who knows? Who knows? Literally, that's the that's the tagline for Omniscience Draft. Each opponent chooses a permanent they control that shares a card type, so I'll sacrifice an artifact. I think that's actively good for me because now I get to Devious Cover Up. I guess they do get to draw a card there, but putting this in the graveyard is better for me than having it on the battlefield. Unburden, that's a Mind Rot, right? Yeah, just cycle. Cycle again. Can't cycle anymore, at least not 2-mana cycling. Samut the Tested. I do not care about that card at all. Give something double strike so they could like attack and eat one of my creatures. Okay. 5, 10, 12. Oh, I must block it, right? If I block it like this, I trade both of these. Must be blocked if able. Could also just throw this away and try to find 5 more damage. I'm going to get their only creature off board. That seems fine to me. I guess Rona can go ahead and kill Zheng. Blink of an Eye is probably pretty good. Yeah, let's see what happens here. I'll go ahead and bounce Zheng. Note that you do have to use your Omniscience mana for the extra, for the kicker cost there. That's it with the Devious Cover-Up. Sure, I'll attack Samut. I'll be responsible and attack Samut. Should use this Devious Cover-Up, but I'm not going to counter Zheng. So if they play a creature or draw a spell or something like that, we'll counter that instead. Put a post on counter. Okay, that doesn't really matter. You have a Zheng. And you have a Tin Street Dodger. You may have a Tin Street Dodger. Samut could kill Steadfast Sentry if they care that much. This does 2 damage divided as you choose. So it's just a Forked Bolt. Or a Twin Shot. Dual Shot, whatever. You're going to give that double strike and hit me for 4. Okay. Sure. I guess I'll kill both your Planeswalkers then. Bushmeat Poacher. Yeah, so we just kill the walkers here, play a Bushmeat Poacher, and pass. Again, I can kind of ignore these. Just hit my opponent for 6. But I don't want to die to, like, uncounterable haste creature. Who knows? Doesn't matter who attacks who here. Maybe block this turn except by creatures with Defender. Okay, so it doesn't really have an ability. Or no. It can become unblockable. It's Ginger Rudy. Opponent is getting priority for their Tin Street Dodger. Hey, this game has gone on for more than like 2.5 minutes, so kind of intrigued. I feel extremely safe with this Devious Cover-Up. And I'll just sack this to Bushmeat Poacher. Nylea's Forerunner. Other creatures you control have trample. Okay. Again, don't feel like I need to use my trick on that. I'm happy to just take the 2 from Tin Street Dodger. This thing has Vigilance. Ouch. Infernal Pet. Alright. Wouldn't say we've hit the best of cards, but why don't we jam with Sentry here and still think Shieldred's better on board. Huzzah. I should play this and just sack it. Sentry actually seems better than Infernal Pet, because it lets me chip in damage and also threatens a block on this Forerunner. Kapow. Oh, we're against Sofa King Cool. Yeah, let's play Infernal Pets. Let's not use the black mana. That's fine. And sack this. My opponent's getting priority because of this, by the way. Not a particularly useful draw, but I'll keep it in my hand. My opponent might pass with a card in their hand. Counter spell of some sort, and then we get him with the Kaido's Pursuit. Just really clashing cards in the cards here. No rhyme or reason. I don't think you want to put cards like this in your deck, unless you're absolutely forced to, but at the same time you don't really want to put cards like this in your deck, so or Infernal Pet. You do have to make some concessions, though. I'm like a draw 2 away from just rattling off enough spells to kill my opponent with Rona or something like that. Power Stone Fracture killing Rona. I will go ahead and do this now to shuffle in my draw spells. So that draws, and this draws with Selection. I will shuffle those. 3, 6, 7, 8. I will just take the 5. Haggy Mob. Alright, why don't we jam here? Play Haggy Mob, and then... Oh, I guess I can't Bushmeat Poacher then. Alright, I've left myself open to the 2020 Trampler with Haste. Or Mind Rot, that should do it. I'll trade off. I'm only doing that because my opponent might have like a, destroy 20 of your opponent's creatures mission, and then at least I get to give them an extra tick towards that, Whereas I could not block and just kill them otherwise. I'm really just out here trying to make my opponent's day better. That's why I'm Omniscience drafting. That one slogged on a little bit. Not going to lie, that one was a little more sloggy, if I may use the term. But we're 3-0, I guess. The awkward thing here is if you go 7 wins, you get your coins back, so it's not like a bad thing. But I kind of like the idea of getting the prize packs because it helps me fill in my collection because you just get random prizes. Rune of Speed does not cantrip until we find a permanent we can put it on, but this hand is great. Any hand with Divination is automatically going to be better. Opponent does have some sort of instant speed interaction. We can let them resolve and anticipate. That's fine. That is fine. All right, Cycle Lava Serpent is fine by me as well. And we drew a Divination. If they were going to counter a Divination, they probably would have done the first one. And a bunch of counter spells. And whatever this is. Okay, so we can counter things, but can't currently do anything else. Pointed Discussion. Draw 2, lose 2, create a blood token. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. I will counter draw 2s here. Secrets of the Golden City. I will attempt to counter that one as well. Shuffling back my 2 draw 2s. Dark Bargain. Okay, opponent has the busted draw this time. Oh, why did... Oh, I could have Disdainful Stroked that. What am I doing? What am I doing? All right, so they put a Cycler in the graveyard, which means they found 2 cards that are better than Cyclers. Disdainful Stroke my Devious cover-up. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's not good. We might be taking an L here, y'all. Bond of Insight. Return up to 2 instant or sorceries from your graveyard. Let's see if my Disdainful Stroke gets that. Okay, that's nice. No creatures? They're on all removal? Let's go and Mind Rot them, I guess. Discarded, yeah, interaction. Okay, well that is all I've got. I kind of hope they put a dorky creature on board so I can Rune of Speed it. That one's not exactly dorky, but I'll still put a Rune of Speed on it to cantrip. This can enchant my opponent's permanents, right? Yes, it can. Vivisection, draw 3. All right. That's probably correct to do. You're giving up a 6/6, but you're just getting better cards. Then draw 3 cards. That's another draw 3. Youch. Okay, cantrip. Deliberate, cantrip. See, this opponent knows what's up. This opponent knows exactly what's up. They got a wad of draw 2s. That's a draw 4. Nice. There's 16 cards in the library. That's amazing. So discard an instant or sorcery, or discard 2 cards. They discarded Wilt. Spellkeeper, weird. All right, that can get a spell back from their graveyard. That lets them rummage. They can't do this right away unless they have haste. Synthesizer's pretty bad in this format because the card it flips you have to be able to pay mana for. So if you flip like a 6 or 7 drop, you don't actually get to cast it, and then it's even worse on the second end because you use 3 of your mana. Cavern Whisperer. Okay, I will discard Binding Fog. That's fine. Blinding Fog, rather. 10/10 Rust Goliath. Love it. What else you got? Okay, this can bounce a card back to its owner's hand, so they're going to go ahead and Mind Drop me. Replay. Yep. This is... Here we're getting Omniscience, Dawn. That's really weird for them to not do that. So let's see if they've got interaction here. We'll Blood Pact myself. Start the train rolling, hopefully. That one's fine. It gets a card out of their hand. It cantrips. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's do anything. Return an artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. They can get back Experimental Synthesizer. All right, we drew Secrets of the Key. That's another redraw. One redraw this turn. Discarded a bounce spell. Let's do this. And let's crack the token to draw. All right, Thundersteel Colossus. Rune of Speed is my last redraw this turn. I don't want to put it on this because then they can activate right away. I think I'm going to die on their turn unless I draw something good. Let's go and put it here because they're going to be able to get back like a draw 4. Taking 16. All right, that enchantment has haste. Congrats. Prey Upon. All right, I'll go ahead and throw this out. Hopefully thwart the enemy. Got some instant speed redraws with secrets. Rather, I have to use all my mana to flash this back, and then I can redraw on my turn. Their hand's not actually amazing, but they do just unfortunately have a... Huh. Oh, I guess they did that so they can get it back with the iteration. That's cool. So they basically just drew a card there. It's nice, it's nice. Yep. I am dying. Oh, the back half of this actually seems really nasty, too. If you can rattle off a bunch of spells. So here comes Spellkeeper Weird to get back the draw 4, I assume. Or they might get back Bond of Insight, right? Where's that? Return up to 2 instant or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, Graven Lore. That's interesting. Think you would want practical research, right? Drown Yard Amalgam. Target player mills 3 cards. You're going to mill me? Yeah. Sky Turtle in the Graveyard. Canal Monitor 5/3 with great flavor text. We'll let you pause and read that. Cavern Whisperer, I assume, is going to happen here. Discard Prey Upon. Oh, just casting Cavern Whisperer. Dragon Mage. That's amazing. Dragon Mage. Draw 7 cards. All right. I'm going to take 16 here. Keep this thwart for next turn. They're going to flip that thing next turn. I guess they could also have like a deal 5 or something like that, right? Yep. They got another way to get an artifact back. Is that why we're doing that? Oh, you know what this looks like? This looks like a reconstruct history or something like that. That would be baller. What is this, like turn 3? Something like that. Yeah, not Disdainful Stroking. That draw spell early on hurt. They've got much more velocity. It is a reconstruct history. Getting back Bond, Graven Lore. Okay, can't do anything about it. Excuse me. Yep, Bond of Insight. Get back some spells. Mill 4. Fortuitous Find. Opponent does only have 6 cards in their deck. Oh, sorry for the cough, y'all. They could be digging for like a deal 5, like a Lava Axe or something like that. Run ashore, Disdainful Stroke. Okay. Graven Lore, scry 3, draw 3. Opponent with 3 cards left. I only have 1 fog, unfortunately. Ooh, I hope. I really hope my opponent decides to go down to 1 card here and then I can fog them on their turn. I wonder if they have like Thassa's Oracle. That would be brilliant. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Target opponent loses 3 life. Okay. Just draw 1 more card, please. They get to see their library. Scry your library. It's a powerful ability. Okay. Let's do this while we have the mana. Can't Disdainful Stroke that, but if you have just all counter spells in your hand, I suppose I'm not winning anyway, right? Okay. They let it happen. Untap for my turn. My turn starts with an unwilling ingredient, which in other words means it's going to start with a clue token. And a Blood Fountain. Oh, man, that... If my opponent has no... they kill me with Dread Rider, though. I was going to say, if my opponent has no counter spells in hand, Blood Fountain gets it done, because Blood Fountain can get back Colossal Turtle, and Turtle can get back Thwart the enemy. You know what? They can use this on themselves, right? The owner of target non-land permanent puts it on the top or bottom of their library. Sinister Sabotage. Okay, you got me there. Surveil 1. Close, but no dice. I wonder if I have like a target player draws 2 cards. Okay, cast that. Rouse Outburst. Farsight Adept. Hold on a minute. Hold on just a minute. The problem is that they can stop themselves from decking with a Run Ashore. I'm going to cast this and see what they do. Bar the Gates. Okay, unfortunately, they are on the counter spells here. And I know that Rouse Outburst gets countered by Disdainful Stroke, so we'll go ahead and give it to them here. Dang. I mean, they have counter spells, that's for sure. We got in that counter war early, and they just took over with their card draw that turn. Their card draw velocity was much stronger than mine. Practical Research, Bond of Insight to get them back. They had Graven War, just draw 3. We saw that with my own Tezzeret's Ambition. Again, your creatures, as long as your creatures are decently statted, kind of doesn't matter what they are, right? you win on card advantage alone. All right, we're against Last Man 13-13. Ooh, this is a mulligan hand. This looks like a limited, just not what you want kind of hand for Omniscience draft. And we're on the draw. We are on the draw this time. Opponent took a mulligan as well. All right, Devious Cupper up makes me happy to keep. My creatures are a little whatever. Cast in Desert Ceradon, 6/4, not bad. Happily throw a Unwilling Ingredient in front of it. Rune of Sustenance to draw and get lifelink. Not sure if I care about that. Lifelink's annoying. The redraw is also annoying. I'm just going to go ahead and use this. Submit 0 cards, yes. I will target the 0 cards that are in the graveyard, please. This is just 1 for 1. Lifelink does seem like it can mess up my deck eventually, especially given that I don't have an immediate answer for a 6/4. Incubation. So look at the top 4, reveal a creature, and put it in your hand. You got it. Cantrip creatures are great, by the way. All right, and then we got a 6/4 with First Strike. All right, you've got a couple of 6/4s. These cards aren't bad. I'm going to go ahead and play Ingredient, Shieldred, or rather Rona. And then I will put the Blood Fountain out there and pass. Looking to chump with Unwilling Ingredient here. I could double block Desert Ceradon. Just get my 2 creatures back with Blood Fountain. Spark Reaper. Card's decent. Some redraws. Granted, my opponent probably doesn't want to sack their own creatures right now. They're pretty big. So I'm going to take 6 here. Oh, nope. They decided not to. So I will do this instead then. No trample, right? No. All right. My Unwilling Ingredient down, and I will use it to cycle on the end step here. If I draw something really dorky, I can blood token that card away. Looking for my divinations, basically. Rune of Speed is fine. There we go. Well, we're not getting to the City's Blessing, so let's just start with that. Opponent could draw a card here if they wanted to. If they're desperate for interaction, they can use Spark Reaper. Rouse Outburst is nice. Destructive Tampering doesn't do much. That's probably blood token fodder, but sacrifice a creature or planeswalker. Yeah, let's just use this on face here. If I try to target the Reaper, they sacrifice it in response. Take Tezzeret's Ambition. That's just a draw 3 right now. Beautiful. Do your thing, Rona. Do your thing. And I have artifacts, so I don't have to discard anything. Lamprey is kind of whatever here. Could jam with the 7/7. How close are they to dead? Let's say I play this, I use this to crew. I make it so their creatures without flying can't block. That's 10 damage. I guess let's go ahead and redraw now. I'm going to put this on the blood token. And the reason is it'll put in the graveyard. Does that matter? I don't think that matters. Oh, actually, what I can do here, I can play Sandworm. And then I can play Colossus. I can use Blood Fountain to get back whatever, Sentry, and then I can give this haste, make it so their creatures can't block. So I can go for the win here. They get 1 extra card. Let's go with Sandworm. Let's go with Colossus. And then we want to bring back... Nope. Okay. Well, I guess they got bored. My 7/7s do outclass their 6/4s as it is. They did have a draw with Spark Reaper there, but I had lethal if they didn't draw anything super interactive there. I'll take it. 4-1 with the Omniscience draft. Very skillful play. We had decisions to make that last game that got us to lethal. Definitely pro plays here. Narcissus, 13-13. All right. Uh-oh, opponents first. I have no interaction. I have a Colossal Sky Turtle and a Tezzeret's Ambition. So as long as I'm not dead on turn 1, I have a draw 6 in my hand. So I'm going to keep and hope. And if I have to use Sky Turtle to bounce something that's going to kill me, that's fine. This is just a redraw, discarding a pretty bad card. It does have flashback, so they get to use it again later. Or now. So basically using a lot of their stuff to have an extra card to start off with, which is good. What'll it be? Yeah, these seem like pretty dinky cards. I'm going to start with the draw 2 as bait. Opponent clearly has interactive cards here. The draw 2 happened. I've got a Disdainful Stroke now. I would like to get an artifact on board so I can keep an extra card. Or maybe not. I could just pitch the ingredient. I'm going to start with Introduction, though. Kaito's Pursuit seems good. Rune of Speed. I guess I can just bottom that one. It's not really like a compelling reason to keep it. Let's go ahead and Mind Rot. See if opponent wants to react to this one. Also, my ninjas and rogues will gain menace until end of turn. That's pretty spicy. We're cycling some stuff, I guess. Or we might be responding. All right, discard Philology Archaeologist, destroy evil. That's fine. All right, let's go ahead and draw 3. Nice. Let's discard the Unwilling Ingredient because we can just get another card out of that. I'm going to go ahead and Sky Turtle back my draw 3. And then play some creatures and hope Disdainful Stroke's good enough, I guess, is the game plan. Lava Serpent's nice. Discard Prey Upon, I guess. Prey Upon's pretty bad. Can't use Unwilling Ingredient. Can use Sleeper Dart. I'm assuming my opponent's hand is like creature removal spells, so Lava Serpent might end up dying. Blood Pact's good. Rouse Outburst is good. The Woe Eater's also pretty good. Whenever I sacrifice it. Let's start with Lava Serpent. Because I actually don't mind having this on board and then ended up sacrificing it next turn. I mean, if these are just 2 creature removal spells, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't think I would even Disdainful Stroke a removal spell here. Anything else I'm going to use with my mana? Probably not, so let's go ahead and go jam. Play Woe Eater, play Bushmeat Poacher, play Infernal Pet, not playing around sweepers, pass turn with a Disdainful Stroke for protection. Uh-oh, opponent looking at their graveyard. I guess I could have Rouse Outburst. Not entirely sure why I didn't. Sanguine Indulgence costs less mana if you target 2 things. I guess I could just go for the Disdainful Stroke on that. Not that these creatures matter that much, but the Archaeologist can do something, and if they want to fight over that, discard all the cards in your hand, draw them any +1. So gain 2 life, and then redraw 2 cards. All right, cool. Good game. Fantastic game. Really well fought from both sides of the field. You could really feel the tension in the air there. This is amazing. Just absolutely amazing format. It's interesting because I don't think they've done the Chaos Omniscience drafts before. They've only done the, like, in set. And when you're in set, you can kind of, like, look around and feel for what cards might blow you out and stuff like that. You know what counter spells to expect. But here, I think it's just any set that's on Arena is viable. Minus maybe, like, Baldur's Gate. So you can't play around anything. This hand sucks. This hand sucks real bad. Some of the creatures, creatures with tap abilities, pretty bad. All right, Blood Pact at least draws me 2 cards. We've downgraded Bushmeat Poacher to an Infernal Pet. Opponent's on the play this time, though. They took a mulligan as well. Bubbles. Let's see what you got, Bubbles. Is this an instant? Yeah. It's a great format for familiarizing yourself with cards that you might not otherwise know. I'll take 5 damage off the bat here. You don't normally have to cast that right away, but... Oh, you're going to deal 10 to me? That's pretty cool. Yeah. That gets an instant or sorcery back. So I go to 10, basically 8 because of my Blood Pact. Ouch. I'm dying. I don't have to Blood Pact on their turn unless they play something I need to find a counter spell for right away. God, these Archaeomancer type effects are amazing in this format. These get back instants and sorceries type thing. All right, Blood Pact on my turn. Let's play Infernal Pet. Pretty bad. Let's play Blood Pact. Go to 8. Okay, Secrets is fine. I'm going to use Seize the Spoils to pitch this Entomber. Implement of Malice is nice. It might be prudent to not cast this turn, and then on their turn cast it and flash it back so that this gains flying and I can block the 4/2, given that I'm at 8 life now. Oh, Colossal Sky Turtle? I could just cast Colossal Sky Turtle. Oh, wow. They had a threaten effect, too. Dang, they came really close to killing me just now. I kind of want to play Sky Turtle. All right, I'm definitely going to play that. I can get Sky Turtle back with Blood Fountain if things go really wrong. So I am going to play Sky Turtle here. I am going to haste up 7/7 and jam. Kind of letting mana go to waste there. And then we got to play Blood Fountain and pass. Yeah, I already used my mana. Not the most efficient turn. I probably should have just cast this, but especially since my Infernal Pet is tapped, the whole fly in at instant speed trick doesn't matter that much. Hobbling Zombie does not change this game very much. Sweet start from the opponent. Very close to like a kill. All right, let's go ahead and cast Secrets of the Key. So we untap with 3 clues on our turn. That's 2 redraws. Oh, haste. All right, let's hit some creatures here. Devious Cover-Up's fine. That basically makes it so I can't lose the game. Let's go ahead and draw another card. Bushmeat Poacher with haste is kind of nice. Let's go ahead and actually keep that back. Attack. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Oh, if I well, hold on. Let me think. Attack. That blocks this. That blocks this. You take 5 plus another 5. I don't have to do anything drastic here. I can just do this. And then I can draw on their turn with the clue token. I have a Devious Cover-Up once again, and Bushmeat Poacher can gain me, 5 life here? It has haste from the Rebel Fort, so I can activate it. All right, let's crack clue token on their turn. Introduction to Prophecy. Could have killed him with a Blood Pact there, actually. If Blood Pact was in my hand, obviously. Let's see how they get out of this one. Can't Bushmeat Poacher now, actually. Well, yes, I can, because I have a treasure token. But I did use my mana on their upkeep. Maybe that was a bad idea. All right. Dang, my opponent, with the threaten effect and just 10 free points of burn damage early on. I mean, they could have, I think they can give their own creature haste there, so they could deal another 4. All right, 6-1. 6-1. I hope I've, intrigued you on Omniscience Draft. And the problem, of course, is that by the time you see this video, Omniscience Draft won't be available on Arena unless you've already been playing for the Decathlon event. But I just had to do it. All right, on the draw with a Kaito's Pursuit. This actually seems like a mulligan because this card is not particularly good. This is just a redraw, so I'd be mulligan into that anyway. And the Mind Rots are a lot worse on the draw, I think. You would rather have counter spells, bounce spells, removal spells, so on and so forth. So we'll take a mulligan. This is actually probably worse. 7-3. 2-3. Okay, we got us a 7-3 and a 2-3. I could Destructive Tamperin. I could just kill this with Destructive Tamperin. Not sure that's necessary. Let's play a 5-4. That's the one that might bait out a counterspell or removal spell if they have it. Granted, I'm just going to play all my cards. All of my creatures trade for this 7-3, and I'm not worried about the 2-3, so I'm fine with this. If they just pass and don't want to kill anything, I will sack Woe Eater to itself. This deals 1 damage to any target when it or on attack, basically. Wolf's Query. Make 3 boars, and when those boars die, make food tokens. That's fine. Okay. I will trade Steadfast Sentry for this thing in a heartbeat, and if they have a combat trick, so be it. I'm still going to sack Daemogoth to itself. Tower defense! Not tower defense. All right. This can sack itself. My opponent doesn't have anything to discard, but draws me a card. Blink of an Eye. Sweet. All right, let's get Shieldred down. Attack and kill a boar, I guess. I mean, I kind of want to be able to deal with that thing. Shieldred can just trade for this, right? I can kill a boar, right? Yeah. Let's kill our opponent's creatures. I'm not worried about the food tokens. They might just block with a boar here anyway. But who knows? They could have like Endraze Forerunners, and eating through these 1/1s makes like sacrifice effects and all sorts of stuff a lot weaker for them. So chewing through the 1/1s when I don't really care about much else is fine. And I'd rather, I think, just trade Shieldred for this brute than trade the Hagimob. And pass. Yep, so they're going to be at like essentially 29. The Blink of an Eye makes me feel very safe here. Rumbling Sentry. So 3/6 Scry 1. Let's see what happens with the Scry. I see you got the Theros Beyond Death pack. Alright, we're scrying a card to the top. I have to assume this brute is attacking, in which case I do think I just block. As much as I love Rona, I think I probably called it Shieldred again. Sleeper Dart's fine. Let's see what we redraw here. Let's see the redraw. Disdainful Stroke. Okay, so attack here. They could double block. I bow them out with Blink of an Eye. Kill this other. Okay, they conceded. Dang. I was hoping to do some more fun stuff that game. Whatever. I guess we go 7-1, and we have the goal to Omniscience Draft once again. I might do another one of these. I really enjoy this Omniscience Draft, and I think it's so fun. Again, when you're not playing competitively Wizards of the Coast, this is not a good event for for the Decathlon, but man, is it super fun for just whatever that was. But I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I'll claim my prize. And if you want to look at the deck, there's nothing really to talk about. I mean, standout card, Tezzeret's Ambition, right? Counterspell's good, draw spell's good. It probably gets old after a while, huh? But at least you get to play with a different combination of 40 cards every time. I can't give you any strategic advice, and I'm not sure it's even worth it. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. This is Timothy with Jank Diver Gaming. I hope you had a fun time today. I really had a blast doing this, and probably be on the lookout for one more of these videos. Maybe. If you don't see it like directly after this one, I didn't do it, but this might be enough for one day. This might be enough. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Come join the Jank Diver Gaming Discord channel in the links down below if you want to get in on some sweet cube drafting with our community. And if you want to see more content like this, if you want to see more drafts from Pocket Dave, go check out his videos on the channel. He puts out really good drafts. He's very strategic. sometimes I wonder how he would approach the Omniscience draft. But anyway, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all next time.